Wanted to respond to a commenter who says that people who lack ambition will drag you down with them. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I think this is something that tends to be more true more often than not. A lot of times, even if it's our parents, our siblings, peers, and things like that, that people who don't have any sort of ambition, like there's some people that are like, I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm okay with, working at a grocery store. I'm okay with, and nothing's wrong with that, by the way. I'm okay with having a boring life. I'm okay with all these things about me. You have people that are like that, but when you have people that lack ambition and lack self-worth, where they're not okay with themselves, they don't like themselves, they don't like how their life turned out. When they lack ambition, not only will they, they will drag you down with them, but they will sabotage everything that you've got going on and will literally suck the life out of you. And, there's a saying like, a person who has nothing has no problem with helping you lose everything that you've worked for. And the reasoning behind that is because they don't value work. They don't value what it takes to earn things because they never wanted to. They never had to. And so therefore, it's easily for them to come in your home and, or come in your life and screw up your things. And this is not meant to be a Debbie Downer, but it's meant to be something for you to be very self-aware about, because there are a lot of people out there. I've been counseling people for years. There are a lot of people that I know that are very ambitious, and a lot of ambitious people are taught, by the people in proximity to them that you need to humble yourself. You need to, you're just like everybody else. You're this and you're that. And so there's kind of like this sort of humbling. There can be this nastiness about the things that you've earned. I mean, and you can see this kind of stuff online all the time, where people don't really like when you flaunt and things like that. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's the way it is. And so you have to be careful, if you're ambitious, who you're talking to, who you're spending your time around, who you're even sharing your ambitions and your goals with, because a lot of times people will try to talk you out of it. They won't support you. They'll tell you it's stupid, or why are you doing that? And it doesn't make sense to them, and you don't really want to share or have people experiencing your joy if they don't respect the hustle too, one, and then two, if they would never see, they will never see the benefits in what you're doing, and it just doesn't align with them. Now, you can have people that can clap for you and they're fine being where they're at. But in my experience, when you're highly ambitious, you need to have, you need to surround yourself with other people that are also highly ambitious, because that is a core value. And so a lot of your frustrations can be solved by also putting yourself in places and in communities where other people are highly ambitious. So a good example would be like if you are a person that's working 2-3 jobs, but you have a goal of being at a certain place in your career, and you're dating someone that doesn't have a job, that's never going to get a job, and doesn't really see the value of work. They don't really respect you, right? Because again, you're outshining them. This is a big, big challenge in relationships, especially where one person is more successful, and particularly if women are more successful. If you're outshining, you're more ambitious, that can be that can literally be the demise in a lot of relationship. I won't say every one of them, but I will say a lot of them. That is really where the tables turn. And when people lack that ambition and they're very resentful about it and looking at you, elevating in all your glory and all your beauty and all the accolades. Okay, well, now I got to go out and have an affair. I got to go out and do that because I got to get some attention and I have to feel like I'm a rock star somewhere. Now I got to go out and blow all the money that you've earned that was in our savings account because I got to feel like I'm in charge or I'm in control of certain things. So I have to do these things to like put you in your place and be the authority in our relationship. So that I can feel good about myself, but also so that I can have some control and that you will stop elevating and put me as the king piece front and center on your table, or the queen piece, whatever your partner may be, right? So just reverse the roles. But you just want to be very careful about that. Like that, I see so many people that get in relationships and with the way they do it is they're like, okay, we're struggling now, but we're hoping for potential. And then they get into it and then that potential doesn't ever manifest. And now you feel like, well, doggone it. I've wasted 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years with someone who never like got to their potential. And now I'm feeling really pissed off because I put these things to the side, or I did all this. A good example of this would be the show The Hills. And The Hills, I know, right? That's like long ago. But on The Hills, if anybody grew up watching that show, like Lauren, I think it was like Lauren was in love with Justin Bobby, right? Or no, not Lauren, but Lauren was in love with some guy. I forget what his name was. Somebody help me out. But she was in love with some guy, and she had an offer from Vogue to do like an international internship. So she had an offer to go and spend the summer in Europe. And, some dude who wasn't really, like, you could tell he wasn't, at least I could, he wasn't really into her like that. She's like, no, I'm going to turn down that internship. And I'm going to stay and I'm going to spend the summer with this guy that I like. And Kelly Catrone told her, well, you always be known as the girl who turned down a fabulous internship because of some dude. And but that's a good example of like how, like, and don't get me wrong, everybody has the right to be in love. Everybody has the right to their decisions. Nothing against Lauren or the guy that she was with, but like people could see and were trying to tell her, like, you're ambitious. You have a lot going for you. Doors are opening. Keep it going. And she turned it down for a door that would never open for her. And so you just want to be careful with that. And sometimes it'll be just like, you're when someone's not ambitious, they're sort of, sometimes they can just ride your coattails in the relationship. You sort of dragging it around like, remember how Linus used to drag around his blanket in Charlie Brown? You sort of dragging that person around, taking them with you everywhere, putting them in rooms, trying to prop them up, trying to get it going. And they're never going to do it. They're going to embarrass you every time. They're going to sabotage every single time. They're not going to do it. So you want to be careful with that. Thanks so much to this commenter who wrote this. Again, not meant to be negative, but meant to be a space to create awareness and just give you some things to think about. And like, comment, share, and follow. Thank you guys so much. One of the other things that I will mention, a lot of times people who lack ambition and direction in their own life will also lack ambition in terms of you being a couple, in terms of you being a family. So if they can't guide themselves, how do you expect them to do the work to guide the relationship with you? Thanks so much.